Hello Leo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. So we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we've got your perspective, their perspective, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling for each side of the connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, Leo, let's jump in. On your side of this connection, you have reciprocity with the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel in this connection, there is this desire, you have this desire for more, maybe taking the next step, more commitment, but I feel like you're kind of in this energy with this reciprocity of like, I'll give you what you give me. So kind of just like matching energy in a way, but like in the background desiring more, both from them and you also, I feel like, want to give more. Like, I don't feel like you just want more from them. I feel like you want, maybe it's a higher level of commitment or a resolution or something of that nature. Now, this person, they have patience with the Fool in reverse. So this is interesting because with this patience card, if you see, it's like this, this chess game. I feel like this person with the Fool in reverse, they want some sort of a new beginning in this connection as well. But I feel like they're being really, really careful with their moves here. It's like, I feel like they are maybe overanalyzing or overthinking or overcomplicating things. But I also feel like I get that they're being a little bit calculated. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to be manipulative or it's a negative thing. I just feel like there's this energy of like, I don't want to mess this up, or I don't want to, like maybe you guys are friends and this person's like, I don't want to, ruin what we have. Or like say something wrong and push you away. Like, I feel like it's coming from a place of like, kindness, compassion. Like, I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad energy. But in between the connection, you have redacted with the Judgment here. So I feel like both people, like in this redacted card, it's like both people, I feel like, are trying to figure out where the other person stands, what the other person is thinking, what the other person desires. And the truth is kind of getting lost in translation because I don't feel like there's open, honest, vulnerable communication here. Now, maybe you've tried and this person hasn't reciprocated. And so that's why you maybe pulled back your energy a little bit. But the overall theme of the reading is heart-to-heart conversations. It says, honestly discuss your feelings with each other. So this, to me, is what is needed in this connection to provide some clarity. I feel like this is one of those situations where, like, you guys might actually be more on the same page than you think. But that's, I don't know, that could also just be like, there's a need for a heart-to-heart conversation, but, not everyone is capable of having those, right? Like, you have to be dealing with someone that is able to communicate and to be honest and to be vulnerable and, talk about their feelings and things of that nature, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. And maybe that's difficult for you, Leo, to be vulnerable in that sense. So let's take a look. That's just the overall energy. So let's dive a little bit deeper. This is Leo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. The first way we tend to view any situation, really, especially when it comes to like other people's actions, is through the lens of our fears and insecurities and doubts, self-doubts. And sometimes when there's no honest, vulnerable conversations or communication, we will tend to believe what our insecurities want us to believe, which is like, oh, they don't care, or this person doesn't want me in their life, or doesn't care enough to, whatever the case is, when in reality they might be kind of wanting the same thing but struggling with that communication. So let's see, Leo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. The Sun in reverse. All right, Leo. Okay, right out of the gate. Well, Sun in reverse with the Six of Cups. Hang on, I want to clarify this really quick. King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Right out of the gate, we're going to get kind of honest with this. I feel like there's this part of you that desires more in this connection from this person, but I also feel like there's this part of you that maybe isn't fully admitting that to yourself. Maybe you're coming from this place of, oh, I don't really care, or it is what it is. But then there's still that desire, because I feel like you are very unhappy with where things are at in this connection, but it's almost like you're trying to brush it off as if it's like not a big deal in a way, which I feel like is interesting, because I feel like you're doing that because you feel this person is doing that, but then this person sees that in your energy, which causes them to withdraw. And so that's why I feel like both people care, but it's almost like you're like, oh, I don't really care. And this person's like, fine, I don't really care. And you're like, yeah, I don't care either. And I get that. I've been there. I do. And it's hard when it feels like someone doesn't care about your feelings or about you. It's really easy to go into like self-protection mode and defensive mode. And it's like, well, if you don't care, then, I'm going to withdraw my energy, and I'm not going to. And that's why I feel like it's kind of that you're giving what you're getting, which is not a problem. But I do feel like the desire for more in this connection, or for this connection to be in a different place than it currently is definitely still there. But I feel like both people are struggling a little bit with the vulnerability side of things. Leo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Because you do care. You do care. But I feel like you're really closed off right now. Page of Cups in reverse. Let me clarify this, because this is this energy of like kind of shut down emotionally. Oh, that's in reverse too. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And maybe that's because, well, hang on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but you definitely don't have to be. Because I feel like what this is really talking about is, I feel like, Leo, overall, you're very in your head about this. And I'm sure you have your reasons, okay? I don't want to say you don't, but you're in a very defensive energy toward this person. And it's almost like there's this energy of even being a little bit emotionally shut down. And maybe a big part of that is because maybe you are starting to feel a little bit insecure about why this person isn't, showing up or giving you what it is that you desire. And maybe, in order to kind of protect yourself, you're like, well, I gotta close myself off from hoping that things are ever gonna, be better in this connection. But I honestly feel, and I don't say this a lot in readings, I feel like you are misreading this person's actions. Because I don't feel, and that might not be for everyone, okay? I'm not trying to, if you are truly in a situation where you are not being treated well, where someone is, manipulating or gaslighting, or someone is making you feel bad about yourself, this might not be your reading. This could be talking about something else, a different friend or family member maybe even. But I feel like this person, I'm going to be an advocate for them because I actually feel like, I don't feel like they don't care. I feel like they don't know what to do. And I think that is where there's this huge disconnect between what they're doing and what you desire, and what you're experiencing. So I don't blame you for being in the energy that you're in. But I do think that it is very common that we kind of shut down when our insecurities or our fears, are drawn out. And it's a natural thing. But I feel like you do desire whatever it is in this connection, a solution, like conflict resolution, the next step, whatever. Like, I feel like you do desire that. Maybe there's a part of you that doesn't want to because you're struggling with all the stuff that's coming along with it, but all right, Leo's side of this connection. Because there it is. There's the moon. There's the fear. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. The moon, the 5 of Wands, and the Justice in reverse. So there is a lot of the conflict, I feel like, that you're feeling is stemming from this fear that you're not good enough, that you're not lovable, that you're not deserving. And a lot of that I feel like is because you haven't gotten what you needed from this connection, and that's completely justified. But my question is, like, have you spoken up about it? Like, have you been honest about where you're at, what you want, and what you need? Because sometimes, we think that people should be able to just know, but we teach people how to treat us. We really do. And when we really love someone, we have to be willing to say, look, like, I need more, I need this, or I can't handle it. I can't handle this. I don't like it when you do that. I don't like when you speak to that way, whatever the case might be. And that helps you come to some sort of resolution. The thing that I see that ruins most connections is instead of facing the conflict, there's this defensiveness and this shutting down, and then all of a sudden both people kind of withdraw, or one person kind of withdraws because it's like, well, it's uncomfortable now. I don't know how to deal with it. And I feel like the thing is that there's more to what's going on here than meets the eye, because I feel like this person wants resolution too. Now, I think that that's where it's like, it's kind of up to you. Are they deserving of it? Are they showing that they're willing to? Things of that nature. And I feel like that's why this having a true vulnerable conversation with each other would really help, because that's where you could really gauge, like, this is what I want, this is what I desire, this is what I need to feel like I'm in a healthy, sustainable relationship. And the other person is either going to step up to the plate and say, okay, here's what I can do, or is kind of willing to figure out what they need to do that, or they're going to say, no, I don't have that in me, or I'm not willing to meet those needs or those standards, which is kind of an answer within itself. But I feel like the reason that there needs to be a conversation is because I feel like there needs to be this clarity of understanding that, again, I think that you both are actually more on the same page than you think. All right, this person's energy toward Leo. Person's energy toward Leo. Okay, so see, they're shut down too. Both people in this connection have kind of shut down and withdrawn. But both of you want this. That's where there's this issue. Clarify this Magician in reverse. you never know unless you try, right? Because, let me clarify this Magician reverse. There's the Ten of Swords. Because this person is hurting too with where things are at. Like, I feel like they desire more. Because I feel like this is about finding a resolution here. And I feel like they do desire that. But the Magician in reverse can be a little concerning, because that's where it's like, but do they have the tools to be able to like communicate without defensiveness and be open and honest and vulnerable and all those things, right? Because I feel like, yeah, both people in this connection have kind of like withdrawn and shut down a little bit. This is kind of that energy of like both people kind of going into self-preservation mode, even though both people desire love. This person's energy toward Leo. Gosh, the amount of reverse cards is absolutely insane. See, there's the Nine of Pentacles. Two of Wands. See, that's what's so interesting. You both desire this connection, but both of you, your actions aren't aligning with that desire. Your actions are aligning with shutting down, protecting yourself, distancing yourself, which sometimes is necessary, especially in the face of conflict. Like, it can help you kind of withdraw and process and get to a clear space. But I feel like there's been a lot of misunderstanding in this connection. On both sides, not blaming one person or the other, on both sides. And I feel like that the way that they're acting isn't the way that they actually feel. Because, and I'm going to say the same thing, Leo, I feel like it's the same about you too. And so both people are, and that's where it's like redacted. It's like the truth is somewhere in between the lines, but what's being presented makes it look as if both people don't care and both people don't want this. So there is this desire, but I do understand why you feel the way you do, because I do feel with the Two of Wands in reverse, it feels like this person is acting like, it's not like they're showing that they're super eager for a resolution here, I feel like is what it comes down to, which again is going to make you go, oh, so they don't care, but they do care. With this, but I also feel like they're trying to be very careful in a way. I don't know, this is interesting. This person's energy toward Leo. See, the desires align. Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. The desire aligns. It's just about, because I am a firm believer, and I have said this since I started doing readings on this channel, that any two people on this planet can make a relationship work as long as both people are willing to do the work to make it work. And that means both on themselves and on the connection. You know, maybe it's, you know I shut down, or I know I do these things. You know, I'm aware of that. I'm willing to like go to therapy, or I'm willing to work on myself so that that's not how I handle conflict in the future. Or, you know, I know that I struggle with opening up and being vulnerable. Like, that's something that I am going to work on moving forward. And I'm open to you letting me know when I'm shutting down, so that, you know, willing to like take that accountability and do the work. And that's on both sides. You know, I think that sometimes it's a lot about how one person needs to do things different. And, you know, one thing that I've really learned with my husband and our relationship is, in the past, I used to face arguments from a win or lose standpoint. Like, I would be me versus them. Like, I want to win this argument. I want them to know exactly how I feel, and I want them to change their behavior so that, and I've learned that that's not a good way to approach our relationships, you have to learn to come from this like place of like, we are on the same team and we want the same goal, right? Right here, your desires align. And this can go for any relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, otherwise, is you come from this place of, okay, we want this relationship to work, right? So it is not me versus you, it is us versus the problem. It's us versus what's really going on here. But it's hard because not everybody is capable of viewing relationships that way. That takes a very intense level of healing and growth to be able to say, okay, this isn't, me against you. This isn't, it's us against the problem, which means we need to work together to find a solution, which means there are things that you can do better and there are things that I can do better. And then we'll figure out what we can both do better. We come with a solution moving forward. And I feel like that's what this heart-to-heart conversation is about, is figuring out like where the middle ground is. And I'm not saying like maybe there isn't any, right? Maybe you've tried to have those heart-to-heart conversations. Maybe this person just won't listen to what you have going on. And maybe that's why you feel like you have to withdraw. And if that's the case, there's probably a cycle here that needs to be addressed. But as things stand right now, I feel like both people desire the same thing, but that needs to be addressed to be able to say like, okay, but are we willing to do the work to make this happen? Like, are you open to hearing what I have to say? Are we open to the communication? Like, can we make this work? And that's going to give you your answer, right, of whether or not this is the right thing for you or not. Boundaries and communication and vulnerability are the perfect way to find out whether or not somebody is meant to be in your life. Because if you go into it and you're willing to kind of lay it all out and be like, this is how I feel, like this is how I want, this is what I wish you'd do. Someone just rang my doorbell, so my dogs are going to freak out. Give me a second. I was so close to being done. 3, 2. All right. If you're willing to kind of lay it all out, right, however they respond is your answer. And I think that sometimes we wait on other people to make the first move, which just keeps us waiting in sadness or resentment because we're waiting on the other person to change, when in reality you might have more control in this than you think. All right. This person's energy toward Leo. And I've learned, like, anytime there is a problem in my relationship and I bring it to my husband, there's always a way in which I can do better too. And the same thing, like, if he brings a problem to me, there's always a way in which he admits, like, he can do better. Which maybe it's like, oh, I communicate my needs more, or I don't get so defensive when you bring things up. This person's energy toward Leo. But it takes two people willing to have those conversations and do the work. I feel like this person's stuck. They don't know what to do. I feel like this person has no idea how to handle this situation. And there's no communication. I feel like that keeps both of you, wow, so many reverse cards. That keeps both of you wondering like what the other person is thinking and feeling. And I think that could lead, I mean, if you don't want this connection to be ruined, like, making sure that and I'm not saying like it will be if you don't do this, okay? So it's never, but you have more control than you think. So being able to, like I said, approach this from this place of, okay, I want this to work, you want this to work, let's find a solution, can help you tremendously as you move forward. But again, it's kind of, that's how you like really put the ball in the other person's court. You say, I'm doing what I can control. What you can control is what they can control is how they respond, and then that kind of lets you know how to handle things moving forward. But in between the connection you have redacted with the judgment, we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into the connection, looking at the deeper truth and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Leo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Leo.